Welcome back to my channel, guys. So my last video, I did the top 5 movies that I like but everybody else hates. Now, today, I'm doing the opposite. This video is going to be the top 5 movies that I hate but everybody else loves. So just like last time, please keep in mind that these movies are just my personal opinion. I'm not saying that I'm right about these movies and you guys are wrong for those who like it. No, it's just strictly my opinion. If you like any of these movies, that's great. Let me know in the comments section why you love these movies, or at the end of the video, like always, post down your movies that you don't like but everybody else likes. Let's keep it adult, professional, and most of all fun. With that being said, not much more to say. Let's just get right into it, to the top 5 movies that I hate but everybody else loves. Starting out my list with number 5 is The Amazing Spider-Man. Now, I'll fully admit that when this movie first came out, I loved it. I had a great time with it. I really liked Andrew Garfield and the different take on the character, plus the villain. But then I saw it years later at a friend's house, and then my thoughts kind of shifted a little bit. I didn't really care for it too much. Then I ended up buying the Blu-ray, giving it another chance, and I thought to myself, what happened? That was a really, really bad movie. Everyone praises Andrew Garfield for this. Now when I watch this movie, I say to myself, what were they thinking with Andrew Garfield? I know Spider-Man in the comics later on becomes that quippy, sarcastic skater college kid. You know, Peter Parker does. But that is not how I remember him being in high school. I appreciate the different take that they tried to do with the character, but in the end, it just didn't work. You know, it would have been much better if they would have stuck with the nerdy aspect, which they, again, tried to do alongside the skater, sarcastic kid, but the two different shifts in the character don't blend together. You know, they tried to do something different, which I appreciate. It just didn't work. The villain, I thought the Lizard would be a great addition to the Spider-Man universe, but I hated the villain in this movie now that I rewatch it. His plan doesn't make sense. I don't really like the actor. I forgot what the actor's name is. Hang on a second. Okay, I'll look at it later. I can't find it. But I don't really like the performance, if that makes any better sense. I don't really like his performance. Again, his plan doesn't make any sense, and the whole time I'm watching it, I'm just like, this movie could have been better. If they wanted to do a reboot for Spider-Man after Sam Raimi's, that's fine. But the darker, grittier, real take that worked with the Batman Begins trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy, it doesn't work with Spider-Man. To me, I just see this movie as a big wasted opportunity that I don't really watch all that much. I'll only watch it if there's a Spider-Man marathon that I'm doing, but besides that, I don't get the love for this. It's a pretty mess of a movie. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is worse, but I think most fans agree that movie's terrible. But this, I never understood the love. So, number 5, Amazing Spider-Man. Next at number 4, I've seen this movie a lot on lists that are like this. And yeah, for me, I kind of agree, Avatar. Now, let me just say this really quick. I don't really hate Avatar. Like, hate's a real strong word. Like, Amazing Spider-Man, I actually do hate. And the other movies on this list I hate too. But this, I don't really think I hate. I just think it's a kind of bad movie that had enjoyable aspects to it, if that makes a little bit better sense. Everyone praised this movie when it came out. It was the #1 highest box office movie of all time until Avengers Endgame beat it. And everyone said this is an amazing movie. The visuals are amazing for me, but the human aspect and the story, I don't care about. I don't care about any of the human characters. In fact, the story is just recycled. I've seen the story done in this movie so much better in other movies. The only thing this movie has going for it is the visual effects, and I didn't see this movie in theaters, but I don't doubt this would have been a great theater experience. But this is a long movie, and a lot of time is dedicated, from what I remember at least. I haven't seen this movie in a few years. A lot of time, from what I remember, is dedicated to the human characters. And I couldn't get behind any of them. They were just bland, mediocre, boring, great actors, but pretty bland performances. And to just say this movie is amazing, it's incredible just by the visual effects, that's not enough for me. I need more meat on my movies besides just junk, if that makes any sense. Think of it like a cake. You know, the best part of the cake is the frosting, true. But what makes the overall experience of eating a cake better is the actual cake part. And if that part doesn't taste good, then you're not going to have a good cake tasting experience. That's how I view movies. The story, the characters, and all the little things that people nowadays just don't pay attention to, that's the actual cake part, but the visual effects, the action and stuff like that, that's the frosting. So it's a weird analogy, I know, but that's how I view it. And the frosting on this just wasn't enough for me. Again, I don't hate this movie. It's not like absolutely bottom of the barrel, $5 Walmart garbage. It's just a bad movie that was visually impressive, and that went over people's heads when it came out. I might watch this again one day, and who knows, my opinion might change, but for right now, number 4 for the movie that I don't like, that everyone else loves, Avatar. Next at number 3, I actually don't have the Blu-ray for this, so I can't hold it up. But number 3 is Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby. This movie gave me a headache. This movie gave me a really bad headache. I remember when I first saw this movie. My friend came over and he got the DVD and he asked me if I wanted to watch it, so I said sure. He ended up spending the night. We had a good time hanging out. We put on this movie, and this movie's awful. This movie's not funny to me. It's trying way too hard to be what it really is. And like I said, it gave me a headache. I was fine the entire day, but I'm not kidding. When this movie ended, I had such a bad headache, and I didn't laugh once. It's just, I don't get it. I don't get what's so funny about this movie. I like Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. I think they're a good pairing. Individual, they're kind of for me, like they're fine, but as a pairing, I think they're really funny. I really love Step Brothers. And I haven't seen Holmes and Watson, but from what I heard, that wasn't that good. But I don't know what happened in this movie. I don't think this movie was all that funny. The beginning was, for me, laughably bad with the little kid. That was laughably bad to me. So I wasn't laughing at the fact that it was funny. I was laughing for how stupid and dumb it was. And, you know, I'm not going to go much into it because I haven't watched it since that first initial viewing, and I really don't care to. A lot of people have told me, just watch it and give it another chance, and I'm like, I don't want to. I had such a bad experience when I watched it. I don't want to go back to that. So, unlike Avatar, I'm not going to be revisiting this movie. I saw it once. I think it's terrible. It's one of the worst comedies I've ever seen. Again, if you think different, that's fine. But for me, number 3, Talladega Nights. Next at number 2 is a more recent movie that came out, but people went nuts over this movie. It was crazy. For me, I never understood why people love Venom so much. I bought the Blu-ray because I wanted to complete my Spider-Man movies, and it was real cheap, so I didn't really feel that bad. But yeah, I saw this movie in theaters with a friend of mine, and I remember the fan reaction was nuts. Like, people were treating this like the next Star Wars movie came out, like the next, big superhero movie. And from what I saw in the movie was dumb, cliched, PG-13, wasted superhero of a movie. If that kind of makes sense. It was jumbled, but you know what? This movie is jumbled. The plot is kind of convoluted. The villain is just a cardboard cutout of a villain. I like Riz Ahmed, but I hated him in this movie. Tom Hardy was the only one that kept my interest throughout the movie, but there wasn't that much that I really liked about it. Michelle Williams was wasted as hell in this movie, and she's an incredible actress. She's super talented. I believe she's won some Oscars in the past. What happened with this movie? Again, the critic score for this movie is very low, But when this movie came out, everyone got so jealous that A Star is Born got better reviews than this did. So they said, screw it, I'm going to go see Venom, I'm going to give them money, and I'm going to make sure that people know that this movie is really good because it's Venom. I like this movie because of Venom, and it's Venom. Venom was the only good thing I liked about it, and Tom Hardy. Everything else is trash. And thanks to this movie making a lot of money and everyone saying this movie is great, even though it sucks and we're getting a sequel, this is part of the reason why Spider-Man is now gone from the MCU. Sony is finally trying to start their cinematic Spider-Man universe. I don't think it's the main reason, but this movie probably is a reason why Sony decided to not take Marvel's offer and take him out of the MCU. Because guess what? They have a financially successful movie now, and Sony only focuses on the numbers than the quality of their movies. So they saw the numbers and said, hey, we did good. We could put Spider-Man in here now and restart our cinematic universe that we tried once with The Amazing Spider-Man, but failed with Amazing Spider-Man because Amazing Spider-Man 2 sucked. I'm going to calm down for a minute. So, I did a whole review on this back when it came out. If you want a little bit more thoughts on that, go check out that video. But yeah, I don't like this movie. A lot of people do, and some guy actually bitched at me on Facebook because I mentioned that I don't like this movie. So, if you like it, great. For me, this was a mess of a movie, and waiting this long to finally get a Venom movie, and this is what we got? Major disappointment. One of the biggest disappointments in recent years for me. So number 2, Venom. Alright, we're down to number 1. Now, I had to think a lot about this one, and I had trouble figuring out a number 1 spot, but the more I thought about this particular movie, the more I was like, yeah, this has to be the number 1 for me. For me, the number 1 movie that I hate, that everybody else loves, is Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. Funny enough, my other list ended with a Star Wars movie, and this one ended with a Star Wars movie, so that's pretty funny. So, I've already done a re-review for Rogue One, so I'm not going to do too much on this, but this one, I've said this a lot in this video on the other ones that I don't get why people love this, but this, I really don't get what people love about this. This was a boring movie with the last act of the movie being pretty good. I'll fully admit, the last like 15, 20 minutes of this movie was pretty good. The rest of the movie, it's bland, it's boring, it's mediocre, it's just throwing fan service at fans. Everyone thought The Force Awakens had unnecessary fan service. At least the fan service in The Force Awakens came off as little winks to the fans. This is just shoving it in your face like, hey, remember this guy that said to Luke he doesn't like you? I have the death sentence on 12 systems? Look, he's in the movie. Hey, C-3PO and R2-D2, they're in the movie. Look, they're in the movie. Grand Moff Tarkin? Everyone praised the stop motion effects, but to me, he looked like a cartoon character. Hey, look, Grand Moff Tarkin's in the movie. Hey, you want a cool Darth Vader scene? Here's 30 seconds of Darth Vader just killing rebels because fan service. Look, it's Darth Vader killing people with his lightsaber, and everyone went nuts over it. Yes, it was cool to see, but why does 30 seconds of a scene of Darth Vader going nuts worthy of saying this is a great movie? This is... I can't. I can't. I can't do this. You know what I need? I need a drink. Yeah, I need a drink. Alright, let's see. We got soda, OJ, purple stuff. Here we go. Alright, now this is a man's drink. You know, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't. Everyone hates The Last Jedi. All right, and you know you don't like a movie, fine. Fine, you don't like it. But let me ask you this: does The Last Jedi have flaws? Yes, it does. But why does this get a pass? The Last Jedi doesn't. It's done. Oh, I don't. If you don't like the movie, fine. But I think it's unfair. Rogue One. Excuse me. Rogue One is boring. It's boring. It's boring. Barely get through it. 30 minutes of Vader going buzz with saber doesn't make up for it. I don't know. This is my opinion. Just my opinion. If you like it, fine. I don't get it though. Oh, I don't feel too good. I don't know if I'm hungry, sleepy, or I gotta throw up. But I don't know. But I'll see you guys later. Oh, damn it.